6 prodigiously talented basketball players who all possess unnatural abilities and a skill set that far separates them from their peers. The generation of miracles. When it comes to these athletes, by just watching them grace the court, you could tell that we're watching players who seem to possess the talent that could only be given to them by the basketball gods. Talents such as the ability to make a shot from literally anywhere from the arena, not just the court, but the entire arena. Talents such as the ability to literally contort your body at any angle to finish a shot that seems to defy physics. Talents such as the ability to not have literally any presence on the floor, but somehow still be one of the most impactful pieces in your team's success. Now I could go on and on about these unreal players that mainly come from a fictional series. But what if I told you that these characters aren't just fictional? These players actually exist in reality. Matter of fact, we see these players play on a high level on a day-to-day basis. Players who mastered the art of unlimited range, unworldly finishes, and more. In this video, we'll be finding out just what current NBA players match the abilities and skill sets of the 6 players in the generation of miracles. Ryota Kise is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated players out of any member of the generation of miracles for many reasons. With playing at by far one of the weakest schools out of everyone in the generation of miracles, he's shown his ability to take matters in his own hands and completely carry his team's offensive load on his own. Even though his team wasn't terrible and was actually pretty solid, in the beginning of the show, we see how much he likes to control the offense by himself. Now, touching his personality, like most of the members in the generation of miracles, Kise is very confident in his ability to score the ball. But what really sets him apart is his charisma and flashiness that exudes from him while he plays. Now, even though he's somewhat of a laid-back character off the court, his competitive nature on the court is what really sets him apart from a lot of players in the show. He's a player that would pretty much go through any lengths to win a game no matter the circumstances. Now, skill-wise, in my opinion, he has by far one of the most overpowered abilities in the show. And that ability is the ability to perfectly mimic any move from any player he's ever gone up against. This ability allows him to pretty much have one of the deepest bags in the show. And with mastering the perfect copy, he's even able to copy moves from his former teammates in the generation of miracles, which makes him by far one of the biggest offensive threats. So with that being said, what other player fits Kise better than the Mamba himself, Kobe Bryant? Now, one of the main things that connect Kobe to Kise is their ability to study moves and perfect them. Kobe's notoriously known for mimicking Michael Jordan's game and transcending it in his own way. But MJ isn't the only player Kobe took moves from. Kobe modeled his game after players like Hakeem with his footwork, Dr. J with his acrobatics, and like I said, MJ when it came to things such as his post work and fadeaway. This is pretty much similar to Kise's ability to tap into anyone's bag and perfect it for himself, which allows both Kobe and Kise to be extremely versatile players. Now, in terms of personality, Kobe on the court and off the court, much like Kise, is a whole different animal. There's many stories circling around Kobe that prove that this man will do anything to gain an advantage to win a game. Both guys can also be seen as charismatic characters as well. That's why this comparison fits so perfectly. Midorima is another member from the generation of miracles who attends Shotoku High. And as far as his skill set goes, it's clear as day that he possesses the best shooting ability out of any player we've seen. When it comes to shooting, his range basically stems from the 3-point line to the other side of the court, meaning he has the green light to let it fly from anywhere he wants. With having a limited range, players pretty much have to guard him the full 94 feet, whether he has the ball in his hands or not. Now, another crazy ability he possesses is his Sky Direct 3-point shot, which basically allows him to catch the ball in the air while in shooting motion and launch a perfectly formed shot. Now, despite being a great shooter, he wasn't known to be able to put the ball on the floor and create for himself and his teammates, which in a way can be seen as one of his biggest weaknesses in his game, due to the fact that the easiest way to stop him is to really just run him off the 3-point line. But aside from his shooting and being able to be a catch-and-shoot threat, Midorima is also prided on his great defense. He had no problem guarding any other team's offensive threats. So with that being said, if I were to give Midorima an NBA comparison, it would be a merger between the Splash Brothers, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry. Now, in terms of his unlimited range,
time for Curry from half court. It's gone!
One of the only players I can see that fits him perfectly is none other than Steph Curry, who we all know pretty much can catch any shot past the half-court line. And Curry has even shown us plenty times that he could green a couple full-court shots as well. But in terms of Midorima's overall playstyle, him and Klay Thompson are pretty much a carbon copy of each other. Like Midorima, Klay Thompson, especially in his prime, is by far one of the greatest catch-and-shoot shooters in NBA history. And he's proven this multiple times by giving teams work without having to put the ball on the floor. Another thing that connects the players are their IQ. Midorima in the show was really good at reading his opponent's movements and tendencies, and taking advantage of it to get an open shot. But one thing that also makes this comparison work is that they share pretty much the same weaknesses. With both of their games being pretty predictable, if you run Klay off the three-point line like Midorima, he isn't as effective as he could be. And they both also lack the ability to create a quality shot for themselves without the help of their teammates. Now, the last thing that really connects this comparison is that both these guys are elite 3-and-D players. With not only being elite shooters, they are also elite defenders who are able to lock up from the 1 to the 3. That's why this comparison fits so well. Murasakibara serves as the starting center for Yosen High, and one of the main things that make him who he is how naturally dominant he was on the court. Now, even though the show shows how lackluster and carefree he can be, he's one player who you would hate to see locking in and focusing due to the fact that he's pretty much one of, if not the best two-way player in the show. With his ability to block almost any shot inside or outside of the three-point arc, is only one thing that adds to his insane defensive personnel. Now, one of the main things that allows him to reject most of his opponent's shots is his abnormal sized wingspan and hands, which not only allows him to send shots the other way, but also allows him to grab boards from both ends of the floor. But I'd be lying to you if I said his defensive abilities is the only reason why he's so powerful. Due to him outsizing almost every one of his matchups, he has no problems getting to the rim and throwing down his infamous signature move, Thor's hammer. Now, in terms of his overall playstyle on offense and defense, and even his personality, I feel like the best NBA player that perfectly matches with Murasakibara is none other than the Diesel himself, Shaquille O'Neal. Now, when it comes to brute strength and power, besides Wilt Chamberlain, who could honestly be compared to Murasakibara as well, Shaq is known to be one of, if not the strongest players to grace an NBA court. With the way Shaq is easily able to move past his defenders as if they weren't even there, it's only a fraction of what makes him and Murasakibara so complete. With both players being able to have their way on the court while only putting in minimal effort, it's safe to say when they're locked in, both can be seen as pretty much unstoppable. Like Murasakibara, Shaq was also known for his ability to dominate the boards on both ends of the floor. Now, as far as their personality, both these guys can be known for their laziness and lack of seriousness when it comes to the game. But like stated before, once you get them locked in, it's pretty much no stopping them both. Now, besides both of them being backboard breakers, the last thing that really connects this comparison is Murasakibara's signature move, Thor's hammer, which is pretty much an exact replica to how Shaq dunks the ball.
Kujo.
Kuroko served as a reserve forward to Saren's basketball team. He's a reserve character who literally has no presence on the floor. But what makes Kuroko so good is his ability to strictly just playmake for his team. Due to him having zero presence on the court, he's able to slip past his defenders and make unique passes. His main skill sets mostly rely on his ability of misdirection, which allows him to push the ball down the court or hit teammates who aren't being defended. Now, although Kuroko's overall game is pretty weak besides his passing, he does have one more value on the court. He was one of the best at getting steals in the show, and this is mostly because of the fact that he's practically invisible. One last thing I want to mention is the fact that Kuroko's the perfect sidekick. He's a player who relies on a more dominant player to succeed. With him being the ultimate team player, a great defender, and an elite passer, the only NBA comparison that fits Kuroko is none other than John Stockton. John Stockton is a player who to this day still leads the NBA in all-time assists. Much like Kuroko, Stockton was a player who wasn't too skilled to do much damage individually, but as we saw with him in Utah, with given the right players, he could play to his full potential and lead a team. Much like how Kuroko needed a more dominant force like Kagami to succeed, Stockton relied on Karl Malone in the same way. The last thing that really sells this comparison is Stockton's and Kuroko's defensive abilities. Both are extremely elite at getting steals for the team. when it comes to pure hooping ability and natural talent, I don't think there's any player in the show that comes close to Aomine. Aomine served as Toho Academy star forward. He was described as a character who started off having a deep love for the game of basketball. Because of his love for the game, he trained so much that he literally couldn't find anyone to really challenge him. This caused him to not really have any motivation to attend practices due to the fact that he was just so much better than everyone else. But besides this somewhat of a flaw, he was a legit madman on the court. His agility alone put him light years above anyone competing with him. He used his insane speed, balance, and vertical to perform the most outlandish layups. Aomine was also by far one of the most skilled players that we've seen in the show, and we can see this by his street ball-like handle, which allows him to counter his opponent's defense and get past pretty much anyone. Now combine that with his ability to make any shot from any angle, and you got one of the most coldest mother on the court. But due to his enhanced abilities, it was hard for Aomine to really trust any of his teammates with the ball, just off the fact that he could get a bucket by himself with ease, which in a way makes him pretty much a one-man wrecking ball on the offensive end, which left his team with the responsibility of only really having to play defense and stop the ball. That's why if Aomine was an NBA player, he would be none other than Allen Iverson.
I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Allen Iverson is a player who completely took over the game due to his insane offensive ability. Just like Aomine, AI was able to make some crazy shots. And to add even more to their offensive capabilities, they're both known for their ability to freely handle the rock, which makes them extremely difficult players to stay in front of. And to complement their handle, they both are also known to use their speed to their advantage. Now, much like how Aomine was able to lock in and enter the zone when need be, AI was also known as a player who was a complete machine when hot. With being so potent on the offensive end, both these guys' teams pretty much really only had to worry about guarding the ball. Now, the last thing that makes this comparison work is that both Aomine and AI had tendencies to skip practice. They both felt like there was no need to show up due to them already having immense amounts of skill and then still being able to perform well during games. Akashi serves as a generation of miracles and Rakuzan's point guard and team captain. In the show, Akashi is known to have an intimidating and condescending personality. He hated losing and believed that if you took a loss, your life is completely meaningless. He was a character who demanded absolute respect from everyone around him. Now, although Akashi respected his teammates, he was absolutely insane and didn't respond well to people not listening to him. But apart from his personality, there was a reason why everyone listened to him, and he was the leader of a group of unreal talent. He possessed abilities like Emperor's Eye, an ability that lets him read off his opponent's moves, which allows him to make perfect reads and passes. Akashi's handles was also one of the best handles in the show. Every time he performed his special ankle break dribble, his opponents 9 times out of 10 fell to the floor. Now, apart from winning, if we factor in his personality and just overall skill set, the one NBA player he would be is none other than Chris Paul. With one of Chris Paul's nicknames being the point guard, it kind of makes sense why he's compared to the ultimate PG in the show. Chris Paul is one of the most respected players in the NBA. He was able to gain his respect due to his skill and his good leadership. And part of the reason why is that CP3 is a player who isn't afraid to point out flaws. And much like Akashi, he isn't a player known to hide how he really feels about things. But apart from his leadership abilities, skill-wise, these two go hand in hand. Just like Akashi can read his opponent's moves and make smart plays, Chris Paul is known for making insane reads on both ends of the floor at an all-time great level, which plays a part in why they're both known for their extreme knowledge of the game.